welcome back to the Football Terrace. Here I am with Callum from Coppish again. How are you, mate? You well?
Too bad, bro. Not too bad. 3 points. 3 points. 20.
Wow, right? Fuck you. Like, do you know what it is, right? I don't even know what 3 points is anymore, let alone league titles, bro. I don't know what 3 points are.
Hey, but Terry, let's be real. That Europa League game, that could be a turning point. That could be a turning point. That reminded me so much of when Liverpool beat Dortmund in Klopp's first season.
Well, look, I think it's interesting, right? Because I hope it is.
I hope
it's hard. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard momentum wise because the next game we played some kids. You know, we're starting Eriksen in midfield. We were trying to beat Wolves, but we were definitely resting and rotating, right? We didn't start our best team. So you sort of lose a little bit of momentum. But the manager said it publicly. He definitely said it privately. It's Europa League or bust for the season for us now. So taking our league form now into consideration, I'm going to find it difficult in those individual games to assess it and be completely honest, because the manager has said we're not taking these seriously. So yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, the comeback was amazing. I'm not going to lie. For how bad our season's been, that Cobby and Maguire, those goals just... And he's even seeing rivals upset. That made it fun, you know?
Maybe it's because of the position we're in. Like, I wasn't upset with... Obviously, I wanted you to go out for the laughs, innit? But I also, as a football fan, was like, that was an incredible game. That was really an incredible game. And like, that's what football's about sometimes, isn't it? Like, and what I will say, Mainu just seems like he's the guy for the big occasion, isn't it? Like,
he is a big game player, and you've got to remember his first ever start for Man United was away at Anfield in that 0-0 draw. And imagine your first ever, I think, away start for a club in the Prem. A team under pressure is away at your biggest rivals. And he, like water for ducks back, you saw him throughout the Euros, just doesn't miss. It's international football. So what? I love that about him. And I just hope he can stay fit now and Amarim finds it. Again, I thought he played quite well against Wolves. You know, if other players had done their jobs properly, he would have been involved in a lot of the build up to a couple of goals. So hopefully some more game time for him would be great. But it gets us to our first clip, actually. It's a great segue. Viewers, hit like buttons and make sure you're subscribing. This is Man United fans being interviewed. Big up Aaron, by the way, here for Bleacher Report. Being interviewed about winning the Europa League. Let's take a little listen.
Would you give up winning the Europa League if it means that Arsenal definitely don't win the Champions League?
Yes.
Why is that?
Of course. Why should Arsenal win Champions League?
You hate Arsenal?
Yeah, of course.
We actually need to win the Europa League to get back into the Champions League. I don't mind Arsenal winning the Champions League, but I don't think they will because they're bottle jobs. But Europa League is a must because it's a big thing for us. If we don't get in Champions League, we can't attract big players like Victor Gyökeres and all them. This is a big must.
I wouldn't really focus on Arsenal so much. If we win the Europa League, we need to win the Europa League. Financially, we need to be in the Champions League. But I'll put a scenario out there for you. Man United could finish 17th. Arsenal could finish 2nd. They lose the Champions League final. Man United win the Europa League. Who's had the better season? That's the question. You never answer a question with another question, but I mean, I'm just putting it out there.
They don't have 2 Champions Leagues, so to be honest, we need to be in the Champions League. Financially, we're struggling. We need Champions League football. I'm not giving that up for anything.
So it wouldn't hurt you to see them lift the Champions League?
No, because we got 2.
Come on, man. They'd be unbearable.
We've got 3, you moron.
I was going to say, you've only got 2 in the current era. Yeah, you got 3 over.
We've got 3. Oh, God.
Though. You know Arsenal fans.
They'd be unbearable for a season maximum, and then that's it. You know, they still got to get 2.
No, I would still try and win the Europa League.
Yeah. What do you think? Win the Europa League?
Definitely win the Europa League.
Give Arsenal the Champions League. They need something for going forwards just to keep the club going, you know.
Nah, you can't be worried about other clubs. You got to focus on your own priorities. We got to win the Europa League. Got to get Champions League football. F*** Arsenal. F*** Liverpool. F*** Man City. United. You got to focus on what we're gonna win. Who gives a f*** about all teams? Fuck them.
At least the message is clear.
I'd like to win the Europa League. Goes in the Champions League.
Floyd said, T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what did he say fuck me for? Nelly fucked your first baby.
That literally, that was nothing to do with Liverpool, bro.
Look, I'm liking that it started bad, that video, with I'd rather not win a trophy so Arsenal don't win a trophy because they hate them. I'm glad that the majority of United fans being interviewed are saying winning the Europa, but that's the correct answer, would you say?
Yeah, 100%. Look, we get these scenarios all the time in football. I've been asked this on Coppish as well. Like, I don't care. Like, if we're winning trophies, respectfully, I don't care. Like, yes, I know Arsenal fans are going to be unbearable because it's their first Champions League, but at the same time, they should be unbearable because it's their first Champions League, isn't it? And like, they're gonna win it eventually one day. Like, it's gonna happen one day.
Yes.
So just if they win it and we win the Premier League, so be it. And I'm still gonna go to the parade for Liverpool. I'm still gonna celebrate shamelessly as a Liverpool fan that we've equaled the Premier League record or the league record for most wins. If Arsenal win it, good luck to him. You don't go do your thing, but I'm Liverpool first and foremost, and I'll always pick Liverpool to win, no matter what the outcome is.
I agree. Like, we got asked that question a lot last year. Oh, Arsenal to win the league or City to do a 4-peat, and I couldn't fathom why anybody picked City doing a 4-peat because of the history connected. When you, man, 2 or 3 seasons ago were on for that Jurgen quad, and I was saying, listen, I'd rather City win the league. Yeah, but City are local rivals, and City could do this and City could do that. I said, look, you're making me pick. You've literally got peak Brad Pitt and peak George Clooney and saying which one's taking your wife out. I don't want either.
Yeah.
But if I have to choose, I'm always going to try and pick the lesser of two evils. And the reason why that season I wanted City to pick me to the league title, although I thought you were going to come back and win it, is if Liverpool do the quad, I think they can. I look at a team that does the quad as sort of completing football first. You've completed football if you do it, because it can't ever be better. I think when you do the treble first, the only way you beat the team that did the treble first is doing 2 trebles, because they still did it first. You still got over the line first. And I think that's Liverpool in the Champions League is a great example. United did it first. First English team. Can't take that away from us, no matter. But what you have done is gone and won 6 of the bastards. So it eclipses it. The quad, again, never been done in 140 years. If Liverpool had done it, what's the likelihood of me in my lifetime witnessing Man United did 2 quads? It's not happening.
I'll be honest with you. If we did the quad, you'd probably get post from me every month or so, just as a reminder. Like, I'd be such an evil SOB if we won. And I think God probably looked down and was like, nah, the world would be a better place if Callum's not a prick.
The football god said, no, we ain't having it. Exactly. And when it comes down to this season, look, if Arsenal win the Champions League, fair play to them. It'll be unbearable for some people online. The old unbearable online thing's weird to me. I work online, but you can just mute unbearable people. You could just go on to, like, you can go on X, right? And people say this stuff doesn't. Do you ever get people that go, oh, why do I always see this guy on my timeline? If you click block or mute, they go away. You do not see them. Even on YouTube, if something comes up in your suggestions and you say not interested, I have never then seen that shown to me again, ever. So it's you're only finding it unbearable because you're seeking it out. And you don't need to.
So satisfying blocking and muting people. Like, I love it now.
My favorite one is muting, because they don't know they've been muted. So there's this one dude that like tweets about me all the time. He doesn't stop. I mean, no one really sees it because he's got about 50 followers, but he ats me all the time. And I only know because people tell me. I muted him about 9 months ago and he still thinks I can see it. And this is the irony. Once you can't, this is what you realize about like on stuff that happens to you online. If you have it muted and you don't see it, it's not real, because no one's talking about it. It's crazy. It's beautiful. Exactly. So any Man United fan is like, I just couldn't take a gal smiling, so I'd rather give up a trophy. And it's a legacy thing. Look, I don't believe that every element of success in football is measured just in trophies. It's a massive part. It's a bit that's so important to our 2 clubs, Man United and Liverpool. But I do think there are elements of football that are important outside of the lifting of trophies. And I think Liverpool Football Club, as an example, the way your fans rallied together when when ticket prices are going to go up, when they were going to furlough people, that sort of stuff, the pride in the city, the way the club behaves. I think all those things are really, really important as well.
Yeah. So before you continue, one of the questions, one of the people Aaron was speaking to asks, let's say there was a world where you guys won Europa and Arsenal finished second and didn't win the Champions League. Who do you think had a better season? I know you're a Man United fan, so there's going to be some bias there, but
it's Arsenal, and I'll tell you why. It's Arsenal, and I thought about this a lot this year, and I think I may have said opposite things in previous seasons. Look, in terms of winning trophies, it's Man United. Yes, we've won a trophy. Arsenal haven't. In that scenario, the problem that you have is that when you listen, and this is about fans being educated to top managers speak, top ex-managers speak, including Sir Alex Ferguson, who is the epitome of success. How you're performing in your league is your bread and butter, is a genuine barometer for how good and how bad you are. And for me, if you're sitting 17th in the league, as per this example you mentioned, if that's your general standard, the likelihood of you continuing to win trophies, and the biggest trophies, is so low. You're gonna be sitting in failure in the failure category for a long time. If we win the Europa League, it's an absolutely amazing achievement, and I'll be happy with it. But what I actually want to do is win the Champions League. If we're talking about European competition, can a team sitting 17th in the Premier League win the Champions League? In my personal opinion, no. If that's your genuine standard, so I do look at the league table and your consistency in the league as a much better barometer for where you are as a football club. Winning trophies is great. We've won the League Cup and the FA Cup in the previous 2 seasons. To add a Europa League to that, I'm going to be chuffed. But I'm nowhere near satisfied. My first is not quenched in any way, shape, or form. I know Arsenal fans are not satisfied with just being second. But if you get them to turn around and get fans to be honest and say, next season, who's more likely to win the Premier League, Arsenal or United? Everyone's picking Arsenal. Who's more likely to win the Champions League next year, Arsenal or Man United? Most people are picking Arsenal. And I want Man United to move more into that category. Yes, you can always have a good cup run. Yes, you can always shock people. But for me, I would still say Arsenal are a far superior team.
I agree. They're a superior team.
And I want that. In terms of six, if we're putting it into
this season, though, just this season, if Arsenal don't win anything and you win the Europa, surely there's a conversation. I genuinely don't know the answer, but there has to be a conversation.
There is, and I'm being honest as a Man United fan. A lot of United fans are going to go, like, you're glazing Arsenal, you're being too kind. It's not about that. It's about how I honestly feel. I remember speaking to proper Chelsea fans. They were walking around London the night they won that Champions League, and they were buzzing, and rightfully so. But I remember on my streams 2 or 3 days later, I love this. This was amazing. But now we've got to fix ourselves in the league. And maybe Arsenal are a bad example in this. I am just thinking, I'm just probably projecting my feelings about my club more than I'm thinking about Arsenal, if I'm being honest. Yeah. And it's more of, we are still so far off. I will celebrate it. I'll be happy. I'll gloat a little bit. But I just feel so disappointed still with where my club are by and large. Where I look at Arsenal, I look at City, who've had a bad season by their standards. I look at Newcastle. Yes, they won a trophy, but it's a trajectory. I think Newcastle fans would celebrate that trophy regardless. But I think the celebrations for that trophy they won in the Carabao Cup final were so much more emotional because they can see the trajectory of their club going up. I think it's a combination of those two things. And for me, it's just, listen, I get the argument, and I'm not even going to, if the world says United have had a better season, I'm not going to sit there and fight against it. I'm really talking from a personal place. I'm thinking more about my club than I am Arsenal. And there's so much work for us to do that I just wouldn't be satisfied. But yeah, look, a great question there. Viewers, what do you all think in the comment section below? Let us know. Now, before we get back to the football, obviously it was a very sad week from a religious standpoint with the passing of the Pope. Here's a little bit of content on it.
Died today. Fuck off, Nick Pope. Who's the backup? Who's the backup? They'll come for Kelleher. Swear. Genuinely. That's mad.
So he's live streaming and someone said the Pope died. And he thought it was Nick Pope. And his first thought wasn't message to Nick Pope's family.
Yeah.
It was, they're going to come for Kelleher.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, good. Well, that's one of your lot, mate. One of your lot.
I know. I'm
Your
seeing
lot,
the
Gasser.
training kit. Oh, bloody hell, man. Bloody hell, I've seen it all now. Bloody hell.
Mate, I couldn't believe. When I saw that, I was like, that can't be true. I couldn't believe it. He thought Nick Pope was dead. Was dead and gone.
Back four, when fit, is better than Arsenal's back four.
Ooh.
Abs hands up. Fuad, both hands up.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
To start that again, in case any of the viewers heard the first question. The question is, agree or disagree, Spurs' back four is better than Arsenal's. Let's take a look at what they say.
Spurs' back four, when fit, is better than Arsenal's back four.
Ooh.
Abs hands up. Fuad, both hands up.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Your best back four is better than our best back four.
I agree.
Okay, Abs and
I'm
Fuad's up.
doing the comparison right now.
Let's think it. Mine's down.
So we go...
You're 1 for 4.
Huh?
Who's Saliba?
1 for 4?
You're crazy.
1 for 4, Saliba.
You're crazy.
You lot are definitely hands down.
Yeah, my hand's down.
I'm now doing the comparison. I'm doing the comparison.
No, before we consider. No, I said mine's down.
Oh, yours down completely.
I'm waiting to see what he is.
The way it is left back, you annihilate us. Wash. Yeah, but he shouldn't even be
right
back. Wash.
Did the Doggy annihilate Lewis Kelly?
No. They've both had one good season in the Premier League. Literally, both. Like, Skelly has been excellent this season. Udogie was very good last season. Neither of them wash each other. Pause. But, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I just got I've got to get that mental image out of my head now. And they also said Porro's better than either Ben White or Timber.
Never.
This is crazy.
So Porro's crossing and attacking creativity is very good. He ain't touching Timber. For me, even Ben White, he's not touching Ben White even. Now, granted, Timber and Ben White have a Saka in front of them in it usually. So, and Saka does come back and defend. Plus, Saka is so good going forward that it gives them license to do the overlap and all that. Whereas Tottenham haven't got that player on the right hand side that can be utilized like that. But even still, and then look, I'm a massive Jed Spence fan as well. Like Jed Spence, for me, if Trent does leave, Jed Spence is my first choice who I'd love to see come into to replace Trent. But I don't even think I can sit here and go, based on body of work so far, you can't say Jed Spence and Porro are better than Timber and Timber and Ben White, in my opinion. It's
crazy. I think it's crazy, especially when you consider one team is 16th and lost 20 games. The other team is as Arsenal.
Granted, Angie's tactics do not help anyone. You could have a prime Maldini, prime Yapstam, prime Virgil van Dijk in a back three, plus bloody Carlos and Cafu at right back. Using Angie's tactics, they're still going to.
That is very, 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 very fair. But even with Arsenal, and it's been a bad season for Arsenal in terms of their Premier League title ambitions, they fell off far too early. But they've still only lost 3 games.
Yeah,
they're still second. They're still second in the league. Let's continue to see what they say.
Okay, if we're going off this season completely right.
Wash.
Complete facts.
100%. Porro's a better right back.
Yeah, you lot. I'll give you.
Yeah.
Let's hands up. Wait.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
I said 1 for 4, right?
Goalkeeper,
so I'll give you Saliba over Van de Ven. Romero, Gabriel. I'm sorry, I'm taking Romero.
100%.
Look, now, granted.
I love Fuad. This is from last as well.
Yeah, this is from last season, right? Okay, I think this must be from last season, but still, this Romero Gabriel thing. I mean, this season has put this to bed, right?
Yes, but bro, like not just that. I love Fuad, but Fuad's been very smart in how he's manipulated that. Van de Ven and Gabriel both play left-sided centre back. You judge them against each other. Romero and Saliba both play right-sided centre back. For a start, Gabriel's better than Van de Ven. And again, I rate Van de Ven, but Gabriel's better. Saliba's better than Romero. Romero's good, but Saliba's just better. I'll go as far as saying I think Gabriel is arguably Arsenal's best centre-back. Like, I know Saliba's the one that gets the headlines and gets the plaudits because he looks pretty on the ball and all of that stuff. He looks more technically gifted and all that. But Gabriel's been sensational for Arsenal. Like, he's been that guy for Arsenal.
Yeah, Gabriel's is better than Van Dijk now. Like,
chill.
Yeah, it's just as you say. If you have to manipulate a debate in that way, where you're changing someone's position to, I'm going to put him up against this person and move him round. And I see that a lot when it comes to like all-time Premier League greats in terms of not. Yeah, when people do the whole, I saw someone do this like Premier League 1 to 11, and they framed it well, which was we don't care about longevity. We're talking at their peak, pick the best team. And they put Salah on the right and put Ronaldo on the left. And it's like, well, Ronaldo barely played on the left in the Premier League. At their peak, you did it just so you could get them both in the team. And I think you've got to be as soon as you're doing that, I think you're exposing yourself a little bit to a bit of bias in there. But Spurs fans, a lot of last season were saying that Romero was better than Arsenal centre-backs. And it's just funny how, I mean, those debates have really slowed down there. But this clip was doing the round. Someone sent it in, said, can you and Callum react to it? And it was hilarious that what a difference a year can make in football. And what I've learned a lot in the last year is, and we're gonna speak about another player in a minute, is I think we've got I hate when Man United fans do it when Ahmad's doing well. I think sometimes what we've got to learn to do when a player breaks through or a department of your team starts playing well, slow down the comparisons early. This was shared today, which is he reminds me of Michu. I mean, the celebration kind of funny. Biggest one season wonder of this generation. Streets will definitely forget.
See, I think for me, that's going too far the other way now. And the reason I say that, again, Cole Palmer is an extremely creative player and a good goal scoring midfielder as well. Now, granted, I think he overperformed probably last season, which has, again, meant his expectations has been heightened. However, you actually look at the season Chelsea are having. I think Jackson, before he got injured, Cole Palmer was actually on the trajectory to having as good a season, if not better, than what he had last season.
Yeah.
The moment he lost a runner in front of him, you can't create. I had this debate with Matt Adrift on Coppish the other day because we talk about Szoboszlai and his lack of creativity. So my computer chair just keeps on going down randomly. That's why I keep on fluctuating. It feels like I'm on an elevator, but everyone's watching me. And it's like, Szoboszlai is very good for what he does, but he's not creative. But I also sit there and I go, okay, when Szoboszlai's got the ball, Gakpo doesn't usually break his neck to sprint beyond. He wants the ball into feet. Salah wants the ball into feet. And we haven't got a striker who's really competent at the moment. So who is he really creating for? And I say it with Odegaard as well. Arsenal fans are saying Odegaard's not creative at all. I disagree. Odegaard has no one in front of him who really, apart from Saka, runs in behind on a regular basis. Martinelli tries to do it, but he's not very good at it. I think Cole Palmer, next season, if Chelsea go and recruit a proper number 9 and a proper winger, I think we'll see Cole Palmer get to the level that everyone expects him to. But this notion that Cole Palmer ain't a brilliant footballer still is crazy. And for me, he's going to be more than a player seen as a one season wonder.
Yeah, look, I think it's too early to do it. I understand why the comparisons are coming out, though, especially from this account, which is a big Arsenal account. It's because for 9 months, he was used as a hammer to beat Saka with. So, and this is why I think sometimes I listen, and I understand. I'm not telling fans.
What did Carragher say about him? Carragher said he's the best player in the league. So again, his pundits doing it as well.
I'll be honest with you. Up until about September or so, maybe a little bit later, I was saying the last 18 months, I can't think of a better player who's been better than him in that time. However, I'm talking purely about a period of time, not overall. So I wouldn't say he is the best player in the league. At the same time, I'm not telling people how they banter, how they wind up rivals, etc. Do your thing, but remember that when you do it, you reap what you sow. Yeah. And I don't think this helps players. I think players see a lot of this. I think it piles the pressure upon them. You know, Jurgen Klopp famously spoke about how they had to bring a psychologist into Liverpool to help the players deal with the online criticism that they got. Yeah. And you get a lot of kind of right-leaning, sort of Neanderthalic type people that go, no, just man up. Just man up. It's not as simple as that. These are the same people that cry about everybody else's opinions online, by the way. Like literally cry about it. You notice that the people that say just man up are the biggest crybabies online. It's unbelievable. And as I say, look, you're free to do what you want. My only advice is I don't think it helps your players. I don't think it helps your team. Like, hold back a little bit. You can also, by the way, Man United fans can praise Ahmad. Chelsea can praise Palmer. Arsenal can praise Lewis Skelly this season.
Without bringing down other teams.
Exactly. Because once it starts going a little wrong, everybody jumps on the pylon, and I think it can make it hard for our players. But yeah, look, Palmer is not a one-season wonder to me. I think the one thing that is hurting him as well, I think that he's become a little bit constricted in the way Maresca's having him play, where I think he needs a little bit more freedom and a little bit more opportunity to express himself. He's a little bit of a maverick and a rogue in that way, I feel, and he needs a little bit more space and time around him. But
agreed.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Viewers, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions on that, please. There was another. Sorry, that wasn't the clip I was going to put out there. But yeah, I just on the Arsenal stuff, on that as well. It's funny how like Arsenal have become a little bit of that barometer though as well, haven't they? That people like to shit on, but also compare their own players to, whether it be Saka, whether it be Saliba and Gabriel as an example, and others. They always seem to be Declan Rice with every other midfielder. They do seem to be the team at the moment that everybody wants to benchmark their players against.
This is going to sound so arrogant. I don't, from a Liverpool standpoint, do that. But, but shall I tell you what it is? And again, I know I'm probably going to get chewed up in the comments for this. I think, and I can only say this because I live in London, I just find Arsenal fans are more boisterous than other teams and other fan bases. So when their player is doing well, they're like, yeah, no, we told you about this player. What are you saying now? Shout out to Hooks. Bruv, Hooks, when they beat Real Madrid in the first leg, Hooks called me, a Liverpool fan. It was like, what are you saying now, Cal? Big up Hooks, that's my brother. But I'm like, Hooks, bro, I'm not a rival in this situation. I've been one of the people who rates Declan Rice and said I wanted him at Liverpool. But it is that boisterousness. And again, not to just say to Arsenal fans, we've got fans in all communities that do the same. I just feel that because of my demographic, where I live, etc., I find Arsenal fans are the loudest. So what tends to happen is if a player from another team has a good game, then they'll go, yeah, he craps on X player from Arsenal. And for me, again, I just think it's like,
because they're the loudest.
Yeah, like Saka, like even this whole thing I'm seeing of if Saka was fit this season, Arsenal would have walked the league. Respectfully, like we were leading the league while Saka was injury free. And again, I'm not naive and sitting there going, if Saka wasn't fit, that Arsenal would have pushed us. And they could have got within 6 points of us. We could have had a wobble because of the pressure. It could have all changed. I'm not naive enough to think that couldn't be the case. But this notion that Liverpool have only won the league because Saka got injured is crazy, because we've not even played well in the last couple of months and we've extended our lead over Arsenal. So that's an Arsenal problem, not a Liverpool problem.
I hear that. It actually brings me to a tweet we were going to feature from John Sullivan, who said, the sight of Arteta and Arsenal giving Liverpool a guard of honour at Anfield will be epic. Can you imagine Arteta's face? Now, do you think this hatred, do you think this rivalry, do you think this bitterness, do you think feel this frustration towards Arsenal from this Liverpool fan in particular? But this tweet, by the way, just to give it some context, has had about 2,500 likes. It's had nearly over a quarter of a million views. So a lot of people have interacted with it. Do you think that stems from Arsenal being loud, like you say, or is it because they are seen now as a genuine threat?
They're seen as a genuine threat. Again, maybe I'm just speaking about myself here. I see Arsenal as a competitive rival. I don't see them as a rival as such. In the same way I see City as a competitive rival. Man United, they're a rival. Everton, obviously, geographically, a rival. Chelsea, I'd even say, is more of a rival than Arsenal. Like, again, I think there is a lot of respect between the two fan bases, Liverpool and Arsenal. I think online, there's a lot of like vitriol and all this and one-upsman, gamesmanship and all that stuff. But if you actually speak to match-going fans and a lot of Arsenal, Liverpool fans, and you were to sit them down in a room, I don't think there'd be any issues. Like, I've got loads of friends who are Arsenal fans and they've got loads of friends who are Liverpool fans. I've been to Arsenal Stadium and I've been in and around the stadium, been recognized by people, and I've never felt like there's no love there or no respect. Whereas if I go to other stadiums, I'm like, okay, I may have a little situation potentially today. So I don't think there's that. I just think they've been second to City for a few years now. They overtook us in the league last season. We're going to win the league on top of them this season. We don't see as two sets of fans, could be completely wrong here. We don't see City as a threat immediately. We see each other as threats. So we're like, okay, we're battling now. So I don't.
So you don't see that there's any genuine. Your view is you don't see that there's genuine. There's no genuine hate there. It's just competitive rivals in the short term.
Terry, the only reason I want a guard of honor from Arsenal is because I know for a fact it's going to wind up the fan base. And I can't wait to take pictures and send to my friends who are Arsenal fans and my family members who are Arsenal fans. And I say this with respect. I don't care about Arsenal like that. It's for me, it's a banter thing with Arsenal and Liverpool. I don't sit there and go, I hate that lot. Some of their fans wind me up. Some of their fans drive me up the wall. But it's the same with Chelsea fans, Man United fans, City fans, etc. I don't hate Arsenal. I respect how they move. I respect the football they play. I even really like some of their players. But if you're battling against Liverpool, then it is what it is, man. Like I'm always going to want my team to finish on top. So
I hear that.
I think it's a bit of a fake rivalry as such, created by both sets of fan bases. It's not really like, and you'll see me on stream, bro. I'll be like, I'd love for Arsenal to lose, but it's just because of the banter with it, and I know the fan base melts down when they lose, so it's funny to me. So
you've just done the title for us. Arsenal's fake hate.
For me, it's like, yeah, if they win the Champions League, I'll be annoyed because I know I never hear the end of it. And one of my things as a Liverpool fan is I can turn around to Arsenal fans and say, "Where's your European trophy?" I can't say that anymore. In the same way, you could say, "Where's your 20th league title?"
Yeah. Fuck you. That's a guarantee, though. Speaking of Liverpool winning the title, this is Pitchside here. Let's take a listen to what they said.
Team that is worse than this Liverpool team who's champions, except from Leicester.
I'm sure there's been some end of the era Ferguson.
Blackburn. Yeah, we can go all the way back to Blackburn, but that's not really sheltering.
I mean, I wasn't even alive, so I'm not
even putting too much praise.
I don't think people realize that Blackburn team was pretty good.
It's very good.
It wasn't I think people do. I mean, Garrett sort of says there, like, I wasn't born.
The name of Blackburn.
It's because of the name and what Blackburn are now. People go, oh, rubbish, right? Rubbish. That's, that's rubbish. But yeah,
it's sort of saying like which is the worst sex position in a way. I mean, they're all pretty good because it's sex.
Oh, have you had sex?
Yeah, it depends, mate. I'll be honest with you. That tells me you haven't had a lot because it really depends. You know what I mean? There are some that you do not want to do.
Facts.
Pause. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, there are some that don't even get involved with it. You'll be singing soprano for a while.
I've had sex, guys. It was the first time.
In the same way you talk about which is the worst sex position, you talk about football. You know about neither.
Yeah.
I mean, Liverpool keep getting called this, and the guy also made a snide dig at United. They're like, some of Fergie's end of era United teams weren't very good. I mean, I keep seeing Liverpool put into this category. Are they the worst champions ever?
If we are, then great. If we're not, then great. Like, we're champions at the end of the day. Like, we can sit there and do this about any sports, bro. Like, we're both UFC fans. We can sit there and talk about certain champions and be like, they were crap champions. I tell you what, though, in their front room where they've got that championship belt, no one can take that away from them. Here's the thing. Everyone sees Liverpool as rubbish champions because, quote unquote, Man City and Arsenal fell off. Well, when Man City were winning it with 100 points and no one was getting close to them, no one was calling it like a Farmers League or a crap league. But because it's Liverpool, because it's Arne Slot's first season, because we lost Klopp, again, the expectation was Liverpool would be battling for fourth spot. They'll be battling for the Champions League spots. Because we've walked the league, everyone's automatically saying it's a worse league. Once again, if you look at our points total now, in comparison to the points total last season, where most people said that the title race was brilliant and exhilarating last season, if I'm not mistaken, we have more points than what Man City had this time last season and what Arsenal had last season. And again, I'm not even sitting there saying we played scintillating football this season. We haven't. But it's a results business, right? We've controlled majority of games and we've won the majority of games. We're champions. Just deal with it. At this point, just deal with it. Because what are you getting for calling for the worst champions? What are you getting?
It's really interesting, right? So Fergie's last ever league title winners in 2013. Man United's last league title winners. I remember reading. Yeah, I know it's been a while, man. I remember reading articles in that season, Graham Souness definitely did one talking about how this is Fergie's worst ever team to win a league. So not Fergie's worst team, but Fergie's worst ever team to win a league. We also live in a world now where now everyone talks about points totals being this massive barometer. That team got 89 points as an example. But what I've come to realize through this season and listening to these conversations, I think there's three separate conversations that are being merged together. The first one is the overarching quality of players is worse now than it was 20 years ago. And I think there's a really solid argument to say the pool of world-class talent is smaller. There are players now that are world-class that would have been considered world-class 20 years ago. But I think the pool of players in those categories is smaller. There is this element of has football got worse because it's become a little bit more robotic? And I was watching the City game last night, up until Doku right at the end.
Yeah.
Take someone on. The last 20 minutes of that game was so robotic and sanitized and nobody really taking risks. I'm screaming, someone try and fucking score. And there's an argument to say that's happened. But those two things have been merged into, well, that's why it's been a bad season. And I think that's completely wrong. I think that for a lot of people, this feels like a bad season because their team has been poor, hasn't done the business, hasn't delivered, and there hasn't been the clashes. If you go back to when City and Arsenal played back in September, nobody was saying it was a bad season. Even when Arsenal beat City a few months ago, we were like, this is great. Yeah. Why were we all saying that? Because there was still a title race on. You know, all teams could still achieve something that they'd be proud of that season based on where they started at the beginning of the campaign. But because everybody really, like Chelsea were up near the top of the league, they're struggling now to get a top 4 place. City are going to make the top 4, top 5, but they're well below where they want to be. United and Spurs fell off dramatically. There are teams like Newcastle fans are propping up this league. They're saying it's really good. You've got Villa fans that are really enjoying it. Forest fans think it's the greatest season in decades because of what they're doing. The problem is those fan bases are just not as big and therefore not as noisy. What you're hearing a lot of is Premier League wise 4, 5, 6, 7 gigantic fan bases that are disillusioned with their season saying, well, it's crap. And that's what happened back in 2012, 2013, because Chelsea had, they finished almost 15 points behind Man United. Arsenal 18 points behind the Spurs. Spurs and Arsenal's race to the top 4 was quite exciting, to be fair. But because most teams underachieved, Liverpool that season came 7th on 61 points. So it was being called a bad season then because lots of teams weren't reaching the heights they wanted to or they were expecting to get to. So I think we have to be really mindful of that as football fans, that how you feel about I do feel it's been an unentertaining season. And I say that because we see it on our match reactions. The amount of, even just the amount of people that turn up. We get people that turn up and go, yeah, this is what I thought. Cheers, I'm off. Where they used to stay for the whole thing. I can't wait to hear this opinion, that opinion. I think people are disengaged.
Yeah.
But that's no fault of Liverpool. It doesn't make Liverpool bad champions. Yeah. People are disengaged because their club's done badly. It's nothing to do with Liverpool being crap. It really isn't.
You used the perfect word there, entertaining. If you had said to me at the beginning, bro, do you think it's been an entertaining season? I'd go, nah, it hasn't been. Especially league title wise. But I think everyone gets the notion of entertainment and good being the same thing. Floyd Mayweather was the best boxer of our generation. Not the most entertaining, though, was he? Far from it. Manny Pacquiao was way more entertaining, but Floyd's a better boxer. Of course.
I'll give you an example. When Leicester won the league in 2016, they won it with 81 points, which is decent, but not like this, not a massive amount of points. Only lost 3 games, though, to be fair. Arsenal came second on 71, Spurs 70, and then you had City and United 4th and 5th on 66 points each. Awful seasons, for all those teams. The only reason that wasn't called an unentertaining season is because this dark horse, massive underdog, went on to win the league. Had, for instance, Leicester not done that and Leicester came 10th, and Arsenal or Spurs won that league on 70-odd points, the same thing would have been said. Well, they were in a bit of a title race, so there would have been some entertainment there. Had they had won it on 81 points and nobody else was anywhere near them, that would have been called an unentertaining season because most other clubs and their fans were completely dissatisfied with how they performed. Liverpool came 8th that season. I didn't even realize. That was the season Chelsea came 10th. That would have been another year. The only reason we don't look back at that season as an unentertaining season is one, Leicester won the league and we were all shocked. 2, it was the year, it was funny really, that Spurs came 3rd in a 2-horse race. So it was a little funny in that regard. but because I think they drew their last, drew 2 and lost their last 2 games of the season.
But put in context, Terry. Currently, we're on 79 points with 5 games to go.
Yeah.
You said Leicester won on 81 points, right?
Yep.
How many did Arsenal get? 79.
When?
That season. No, 71, you said. Sorry.
71 points, yeah.
Yeah. So Arsenal would be second in the league right now, 5 points ahead of themselves where they currently are. I think we can all assume that Arsenal between now and the end of the season will get more than 5 points in the last 5 games.
I
So it's
totally
like,
agree. And I think it always comes down to entertainment. And if there's you could have a season like that in 2015, 2016, but because of what Leicester did, everybody was entertained and engaged. This season, it's been a one-horse race for too long, and loads of top teams have underperformed.
Yeah,
and everybody feels disengaged with it. And I think that it's one of those, and not everybody, Newcastle fans don't, and Forest fans don't, and Villa fans don't, but everybody else does. And that's what I hope for next season. I hope next season a few more of the better teams are more consistent, get the fans a little bit more excited. Because I think as football fans, take it away from social media because it's what we work in. Like, you just got to work, you just got to school, and you just look forward to talking about football. I think this has been, I spoke to my brother and he was literally saying to me at work, but no one's really spoke football for like 3 or 4 weeks. It's just not been a topic anyone spoke about. And I think that's resonated with a lot of people this year. But viewers, we'd love to get your opinions on that in the comment section below. Cal, always a pleasure, brother, to sit here and speak football with you. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to Coppish TV right now. Make sure you're subscribing here if you haven't done so already. Until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And
we're going to win the league.